In this video, I'm going to show you how I built this epoxy and wooden oak longboard with these nice trucks. You're about to watch that right now. So here's me taking off the bark and any, dead, rotten, or anything that could rot potentially in the board, because I want this to last a long time. So, I'm taking it off so that when the epoxy binds to it, it doesn't break when the epoxy binds. And, that's just going to make the board last a little bit longer and make it look a little bit nicer too. I know the bark looks pretty cool. You can leave the bark in there, but I prefer to take it out just so it could last a little bit longer. This live edge oak piece here came from a piece that my dad ended up milling up. It was a large oak piece. And here's me getting my old circular saw out and cutting a supposedly straight line as best as I could get, get two nice live edges. Now I'm gluing up or making sure there's no leaks, but you'll see here shortly that I ended up getting lots of leaks. I always like to use aluminum tape around the edges because you can seal that stuff and nothing will leak. I had no leaks coming on the bottom of my table, only leaks from the underside of the wood. I'm using a deep pour epoxy here. It's the cheapest one I could find on Amazon. It was like $100 for a gallon or something like that. Sealing the edges so that we get a nice bind with the epoxy. I did this in 2 pours, and I was skeptical at first because I had this in my basement. It was really cold down there, and it was not curing for crap. So I ended up taking it upstairs, you'll see shortly, so it could cure a little bit faster. I ended up letting this thing cure for a total of 6 days, I believe, after the second pour. And I had no issues with anything when I was planing. Here's the second pour. You can see I brought it upstairs so it can get a little bit warmer temperature so it can cure properly. And you can see I tried to put a key in here, but I ended up taking that key out because it was nervous that it was going to get in the way of the planer. I didn't want to, fuck up my planer blades. So here's me taking off the, when it was all cured up, pops right off easily. I always use that tuck tape because epoxy never sticks to it. You'll never have any problems with epoxy sticking to it, so it's always a safe bet. Now here, running it through the planer. You can watch me take multiple passes through here just to get it nice and flat. Also to the desired thickness I want the board. This is a close-up shot that I took just because I wanted to show you guys how well these planer blades did. These were just the cheapest planer blades on Amazon, and they turned out awesome. Cutting the edges up here, getting a nice flush side, and here's me shaping it out. It took me a couple ideas to figure out how I was going to be able to make a nice symmetrical shape, and then I remembered that I saw somewhere on YouTube someone just taking a piece of paper, folding it, and then making half of their shape, cutting it out and unfolding it, and that gives you a perfectly symmetrical shape, and you can see me do that here. Now because I don't have a bandsaw yet, I used a jigsaw to cut this out, and it worked perfect. So if you don't have a bandsaw and you're like me and you just have a $20 Black & Decker jigsaw, it does the job. It works perfectly. As long as you got a decent sander, you can sand the edges off, and it works perfect. Now I'm sanding it up just to make sure I get all the sharp edges off of it, and so that when I take the router to it to give the round over on it, it's got a nice flat edge. I don't have any kinks in it where I get a kink in the router, you know. Just using this little Bosch trim router. You know, it does the job. I'm hopefully getting a new router here soon with a little bit more power, but this trim router, you know, it does the job. Now I placed out the holes for the trucks where I wanted them, and here's me on my drill press drilling out the holes. Now I put the chamfer bit on there. Time to chamfer these bits out. I think I forgot. I didn't have the screw, so I had to run inside and get the screw so I could size the chamfer right. You can see me here sizing the chamfer, making sure that they all fit right. Now for the fun part, the final sand. Started probably with like 100 or 80 or something and went all the way up to 320 or 400 about. And then there's a lot of filming that I actually didn't get of me sanding, so I'm actually going to say you're welcome to you guys. You don't have to watch all that, but here's just a little bit of it. Now we're getting ready for the coat. I'm putting mineral spirits on here right now just so I could wipe all the dust off. Mineral spirits does a really good job of cleaning wood and cleaning the dust off of wood. And then I decided to dab a little bit of hot glue in these holes so that I wouldn't have leaks going through these holes when I did the coat. Now I did one flood coat on this because I just wanted to protect the wood. I didn't really care about a really nice finish. So I just wanted to, you know, protect the wood from water damage, and if the epoxy gets scratches on it, I don't care. Here's me putting my stamp in. And now for the flood coat on the top, I put this in hot water. I like to put the epoxy in hot water because it takes the bubbles out and makes it a lot easier to mix. So here's just me wiping it on, making sure I get all the edges, everything's sealed up so I don't get any water into the board. Now it's time to sand off all the drips. Epoxy likes to drip, so I didn't want these drips on my top because this will initially be that's the bottom you're looking at right there. So I didn't want the drips in there, so I just sanded them off so I could get a nice coat on that top there. Here's me doing the epoxy coat for the top of the board. And you can see I forgot to put hot glue in the holes so you can watch the epoxy. Just see I fixed it right there. But yeah, this epoxy gives a nice finish, shiny finish, and protective finish, very protective finish. Here's me putting the trucks on. You know, pretty standard. They give you everything you need. They give you the screws and everything. You just need to drill the holes out. So decided to go with these gold trucks with the clear wheels, kind of to match the clear epoxy. So I take it off here to test it out, and I had to bring it back up because I put one of the trucks on wrong. So there's that. And here's going to be a video of me riding it. I'm going to explain to you. So I use the Lucid Grip top grip. It's basically, I didn't take a video of it, but it's basically a 2-part grip. You spray a little bit of glue on, and then it's like a salt shaker. You shake on glass shards, like really fine glass shards, and it adheres to it and makes a really nice grip. And I was riding with it today, and I think I'm going to have to put a new grip on it because a little bit of it's coming off, and I think I might just have to do a couple coats of that stuff and just making sure that it's, you know, nice and secure, because I want a nice strong grip. Here's some shots of the last picture. Let me know what you guys think of it, and if you have any questions about the board or whatever, just let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.